Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey there, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you again. It is time to talk about the weather, so thanks for joining me. We're going to have some fun stuff for you here today. We've got three storm systems coming our way. By the way, as you log in, thank you, by the way, Terry, for the stars for our lunchtime live. Always appreciate the love in that regard, but I appreciate any kind of love. So if you like the video, please share the video. As content creators, you'll always see them like, say, tap the bell or, get your notifications, join the channel, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you do all that and more. And I'm going to post a link on this live broadcast where you can get into the new channel. Thank you, Angela. So the new channel, this is called a broadcast channel. So if some of you are on Instagram, you may have noticed some of your followers or some of the people you follow have broadcast channels now. Well, Facebook has duplicated that because it owns Instagram to the Facebook platform as well. So now there is a broadcast channel you can use, which is, I guess it's a workaround that they've decided to come up with for the algorithms, which will only show you occasional stuff from the people that you follow. So in other words, there's really no way for me to message all 160,000+ of you. I can't do it. There's no way to contact you all to say, hey, I'm going live, you're going to miss out if you don't join. So this broadcast channel is a way that I can at least supposedly be able to message all of you that do join the channel. So if you do want to get notified when I do go live, that's probably the best way to do it. I have been using a third-party platform in between now and then to do it, which costs me more money, of course. Everything costs money, but it was the only way I could get around the algorithms of Facebook. But it looks like now they probably had enough complaints to where they've decided to do their own little workaround. So by the way, Denise, thank you for the stars as well. So I'm going to post the link in the channel. So join that broadcast channel. And then I don't post in there much. It's just basically when I've issued a blog so you don't miss it, and then when I go live. Those are the main two reasons why I use it. Rarely I'll post something else in there, but that's about it. So that way I don't flood your instant messenger. You will probably have to do it on your phone though. I think you have to have your phone to do it, and you have to have your instant messenger installed on your phone for it to work. Thank you, David, also for the stars. Appreciate you, sir, very kindly. Okay, YouTube, thanks for checking in. See you guys in there. Bruce, thank you, sir. He's gifted 10 memberships on the YouTube channel. Bruce is the man. Thank you very much. So that's awesome, brother. So YouTube's also coming up with some fun interactive ways for the content creators and for those folks that you follow. So it looks like they've enacted something on my channel as well that Bruce has tapped into, and Veronica. So appreciate you guys that have all done that. Good to see you, Paul, as well. Me and Oki's in the house. So always good to see you guys. And on my Facebook group page as well, thank you guys for joining. So I've got it broadcast on all 4 platforms right now as we speak. All right, so that all the business is done because I got to get you all updated because things are always changing in that space. Thank you, Mary. Let's take a look at outside conditions. So right now we've got some sunshine. We see some clouds. These are high-level clouds that are rolling through. Winds are out of the southeast direction. Temperatures moderating a little bit, close to 50 degrees. But we're going to see these clouds thicken up for the remainder of today. And that'll set the stage for our next storm system coming in. So if you look at the map itself, there is actually a tongue, I like to call it, because it looks kind of like a tongue, of moisture coming up I-35 corridor from south to north. So this is a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere and also warmer air temperatures. Now you can see where the clouds are a little thicker out in western Oklahoma. Temperatures have not recovered as much, and that'll be the case because it's too late for you guys to see any significant sunshine. So the weather system coming our way has already triggered a winter storm warning in the pink areas out here in New Mexico and a winter weather advisory in the purple across the southern half of Kansas and the northern about third of Oklahoma is where this advisory is going to put the brakes on. So it will not make it down here, for example, into Oklahoma City. Now, advisory just means winter precipitation is expected and it possibly could cause a little travel issue or at least something of significance. This is barely reaching that criteria, just so you know. This first system is not that big of one. But here it is out here in the Four Corners area, spiraling around. This is the upper level low. This is the enhancement in the water vapor channel, which shows the moisture along with it. We use the water vapor loop to show you these storm systems because it really shows these upper level lows really well. Where you see these orange areas, that's just dry air in the atmosphere, dry sinking air. So where you see these other colors, that's where you see the lift in the atmosphere, a lot of the energy that comes along. Let's take a look at the jet stream pattern. We looked in the computer model version of it. You can see the center of the upper low. We talked about this last night. This is different. So if you joined me at lunchtime yesterday, I was a little more excited about the storm system because a little more of us would be seeing at least some wet snow. And then last night, the new models came out, and it completely just deflated me. I was like a balloon that was popped. It was so lame. I was so sad. Amy, thank you very much for the stars. So let's take a look here. So this is the morning time frame, and you can see the center of the upper low is right here. So basically northeast corner of the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. Now here's the problem. Originally, the low had it coming right through Oklahoma like this, all right? Right smack dab along I-40. Now, if you look at the center of the circle line, look where it's going. It's going up here, man. So it went from basically like this, and then it went boop, instead of going doom. So because it went boop, we don't get a whole lot here in Oklahoma, and that's lame. And that can happen with these storm tracks. That's why you be very careful when you're taking that long-range forecast for snowfall amounts, because this will take the heavier snow along with it. Anyway, so that system moves on by, and it's out of our way. And then if we fast forward on into Sunday afternoon, here's the next big broad trough developing. We're going to take a look at that here in a second, show you what that means for our weather for the Monday-Tuesday time frame. All right, so let's take a look underneath that upper level low. The red indicates the lift in the atmosphere. So in other words, this is where it's going to be raining. This is Thursday evening. So the brighter the red, the more lift. The more heavier the precipitation. That's mainly out here in the Panhandle, far western Oklahoma. We do have enough lift to get at least some sprinkles probably going here across central Oklahoma during the evening hours. That only intensifies as this little wave moves through over the evening through the midnight hour here across central Oklahoma. Then that kind of moves up into Kansas. And then we still have some lingering left Friday morning. It's light to moderate. And then by the time we roll into lunchtime, it starts to push out into eastern Oklahoma. Then things really kind of die down. We'll have a little bit of clouds still hanging around because of that lift, but the precipitation will be long gone. Now, here's the issue that we also talked about. Because that low moves to the north, guess what it does? It moderates the temperatures at the surface. In other words, we get warm as a result. Too warm. So like I said, we're around 50 or so already this afternoon. It'll hold, and then it'll cool down this evening. So let's take a look into tomorrow morning. That's where temperatures basically going to be the coolest. And we've got readings into the mid-30s. So you can see, I'll outline this for you. Basically, you see where this little darkish green line is? From around Enid to Stillwater, just south of Tulsa, around Muskogee, just east of McAllister. Okay, something about like that. Now, why is this important? Because if you live south of this blue line, you know what you get? You get no snow. Because the temperatures are too warm. They go from about 36 to, well, we're down to the 40s down here in southern Oklahoma. So that means all of the snow, significant snow, and even some measurable snow will be along and north of this boundary here in Oklahoma. Now, of course, it will snow in Kansas. It's like a no-brainer for you guys. It's not even hard for a forecaster up there to make that call. But down here in Oklahoma, we always seem to get this mixed type, and it's frustrating. And we all get these little fine lines in the sand. Okay, so if you're looking for measurable snow, this is the outline of it. We'll show you how much here in a second. Meanwhile, yeah, you can have a couple of wet snowflakes mixed in with rainfall here in like central Oklahoma, but it's not going to accumulate. So here's a look at the dew point values. This is another reason why dew point values are just too warm. Again, remember my imaginary line here? You know, something like this. So dew point values here are above 33 degrees. They're 34, 35, 40. You got to get those dew point values closer to 32. Sometimes you get away with 33 or 34, but you'd have to come down. It's got to have some other processes that occur for that. But if you look here in northeast Oklahoma, they're around 32. That's the freezing point. So that's why things are a little bit more favorable for snow, for a burst of snow during that time frame. So this is what it looks like. Snow out to the Panhandle coming in around the evening hours through around here's 6, 7, 8 o'clock. You see the rainfall moving on in, heavier rain at that, across western half of Oklahoma. Through our evening hours, there's some snow in the Panhandle. As we continue to move this on through, you can see how that snow continues out there. Then it shifts north into Kansas, because remember the upper lower low is moving that direction. But if you look here toward the daybreak hours, you see how the models are trying to get this little changeover, a quick changeover from the green to the blue. That's rain to snow, and still back into snow in this area as well. So it kind of jives along with their track that we talked about, right? Okay, seeing the snow expanding in Kansas, And even Arkansas, those arcs. Same reasons, a little colder, a little lower dew point values, and out to southern Missouri. And then by noontime, again, all that stuff is well out of the state. A little bit of wraparound, light sprinkles, maybe a light flurry or something up here in northwest Oklahoma for Friday late afternoon and early evening. Still some more sprinkles here into central Oklahoma for the evening hours. Otherwise, just cloudy. Like I said, we had a little bit of residual lift in the atmosphere, but it's not enough to really do anything with it. And the system's pretty much wrapped up, all said and done. So that's kind of the bigger picture of the surrounding states. If you want to look at just Oklahoma itself, let's do that here real quick. So here's a close-up view. So there's 6 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. You see that heavier snow out to the west. Here in Oklahoma City, we've got rainfall here already at midnight. And I'll show you the profile looks like in the atmosphere. All right, this is the sounding. And this is the important part. This right here is a temperature of 40 degrees with a dew point of 37. That's too warm. That means this column right here that you see is above a dashed line in the atmosphere that rolls like this. If these two values down here, this red and green line, if they're to the right of this yellow line, that means it's above freezing. And this is above freezing all the way up to about 1 kilometer up in the atmosphere. It's 1,000 meters up. In other words, that's too warm. So all the snow that falls in this spot right here, in this layer, and all these thousands of feet, it's all snow up here. It's great. I mean, it's snowing like crazy. But it gets to 1,000 meters up here, and it goes, oh, we just hit 32 degrees, 33, 34, 35, all the way down to 40 as it falls. And when it does, guess what? It falls as rain. So that's why the models are not very excited about snow here in central Oklahoma. All right, but you can see as we head into Tulsa, for example, here's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's take a quick look at the Tulsa sounding, show you the difference. Again, you see where these magic numbers are, 32, 32. And if you see this right here, these lines, they're right on that blue line, right on this line. So if I were to draw the freezing line again, which is in our world, 32 degrees, or you can look at it as 0 degrees Celsius, but regardless, they're right on that line. So that's you will talk about a close call. That's as close of a call as you can get, right on that line in the atmosphere. And that can also be frustrating for forecasters. But the end result is snow for the precipitation type in Tulsa. So that's why there's still keep hope alive for you guys up there in Tulsa County. Okay, how much snow you're going to get? Well, this system, we're going to show you 5 different models just to show you the outcome. Remember, we kind of got our little imaginary line drawn like so. So that's where you have measurable snow. Of course, the more measurable snow you go will be across this area of the state, probably this area of the state, and a little sweet spot somewhere in here. Otherwise, south central Kansas is going to be the sweet spot. They're going to be the ones that get hammered with the decent snowfall. All right, so that was one model there. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And here's another one. All right, so where is the truth going to lie? I will pick the her. Why not? So the her shows up here 1 to 3 inches of snow along the border. Same here for the panhandle. Of course, up to 5 in some of these other areas. And then you got 6 inches up here in southern Kansas. We'll show you guys here in a second. Otherwise, 1 to 2 inches kind of in this little corridor here, Osage County up north. So that's pretty much the sweet spot of Oklahoma. Yeah, you can probably get some snow up here in the elevated terrain in southeast Oklahoma. And as we mentioned, higher snow up to the north for south central Kansas. This is probably the big winner. Some of the models are going up to around 6, 7, maybe even 8 inches of rain in this area. Of snow in this area. So the kids will be very happy. And it's amazing. This isn't that far, guys. You can get in the car, drive up here, be there in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and get right into the heavy snow. It's amazing how you can go from feast to famine with these events. When it comes to travel impacts, just minor impacts. Again, ground temperatures are warm. Air temperatures are barely at freezing. So it's not going to be a big deal as far as travel is concerned. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to skip a couple of maps. And then I'm going to focus on the European ensemble for the members. I want to show you the difference in the next 2 systems. Okay, so here's the first system. Now each, you see these little numbers right here on the side? Each is the run. Okay, so the run has data that goes out to the right on this chart, to the right like this. Okay, and this is time. See the dates this way? So this is time going to the right, and this is each little bitty run that goes to the right. This is how you do this. There's 50 of these. All right, so we have to say, okay, we're going to push the model 50 different directions. How much of them will produce snow? So if we look at the first round, this is for Oklahoma City, because I just got to pick a central point. I can do this for every single city, but obviously there's no time in the world to do every one. So I just picked the center part to show you where I need to focus on. So it shows for Oklahoma City, only about, a dozen out of 50 says we'll see any snow at all that may be even slightly measurable. That's not very good confidence. In other words, it's not a good significant outcome. That means we won't see really anything significant here in Oklahoma City. Like I said, somewhat snowflakes mixed in. All right, so let's skip that one. Let's go to the next storm system. So the January 9th and 10th storm system. That's the Monday night, Tuesday storm system. Look what happens this. There's only a couple of runs that don't have any snow at all for Oklahoma City. That's a good sign. That's great. That means high confidence that we're going to get snow on that event. So the next storm system is coming in for Oklahoma City. Now, the amounts, this particular model only has like 2 inches when you total it up. So, okay, well, I can go with that. Remember, it's still early in the game. Then what do you have here? What is all this mess from the 13th and 14th? You see this? This is another spatial cluster of another storm system. This is our third winter storm. So this is how you can look at it kind of in the vertical. So you've got storm 1, storm 2, and storm 3. And if you look way over here, do we have a storm 4 starting to show up? So this is exciting. This is exciting. We finally have something to talk about in the pattern. So let's focus on the Monday storm system. I'm just going to use the American model for now. We'll look at the other models over the weekend, and we'll fine-tune the track. But for right now, it's as good as any. This is the GFS. Now look at where it's putting the upper level low. You see this little spot right here? That guy? That's dead center of southwest Oklahoma, with the center moving right through from Oklahoma City just down to the south. That's a perfect position for good snows. Now this is for, said, Monday night into Tuesday. So it's going right along the Red River with this influence quite a bit expanded from Dallas to Oklahoma City on into the north and east. And it kind of hugs Red River as it moves east. It does not do one of these. Let me get the other guy here. Where's my little number? It does not do one of these zipping up. It does right across. So perfect. Let's keep that trend going. So what happens when we have that trend? Oh, first off, before I do that, let me show you the next one. All right, so that's Monday, Tuesday. And what do we have here? Look at this guy right here. This is on the 13th. Now this one, of course, there's still plenty of time to work with. But again, the center of the low is right along the Red River. Again, that's good for snow for Oklahoma. I want it to be a little more north, just a hair, but not much. But I like these southern tracks. All right, now we done? Remember the European? It said, well, maybe we'll have something else. Well, there's another little ditty right there in this particular model that says, maybe we'll have something a couple days later. And then here's another little system, even a couple days after that one, and another one a couple days after that one. So there's little waves that come through, but they've got to dig better, and they got to get that more closed off look to get really heavy precipitation. But point is, we've got more storm systems to work with. Now I want to show you what's underneath the storm systems. You ready for the Arctic air? So remember, it's been gone. We haven't had any. December was quite mild, but now that we're into January, we've had the southern stratospheric warming event take shape, and now it's going to unleash the Arctic hounds. So look what happens here from the 8th. I'm going to call this out for you to the 9th of January. Look how this colder air is now beginning to build into Canada and is starting to dip southward. Here's a big run of it right here that comes in for the 11th and the 12th, expanding. Here we go south into Texas. Now pressing into the Midwest, up into the Northeast, now down on the Gulf Coast states. Here is on the 14th. You saw some purple here, which is temperatures in the single digits. And you see how these temperatures here in these purple areas are below zero because they got some white colors mixed in with them. So look how, I'm going to the end of the model run, which again, there'll be some errors in this, but the point still stands is look now at where you've got Arctic air. Of course, it's hard to get it through the mountains, but point being is look at this cold, trenched line for the U.S. compared to what it's been for all of December. This is nasty. And of course, you got the big purple zones, which are below zero, that sneak in here from time to time, as you saw in the animation. So keep this in mind. We have this cold temperature pattern with that active upper level pattern. I'm excited. If you're a snow lover, or I hate to say it, ice, this is the pattern for that. Okay, so what kind of snow can we get on Monday? Let's just take a look. Remember, it's early. Remember, we don't do snowfall totals beyond 48 hours as far as anything, but we're going to be hanging our hats on. But for right now, just kind of give you an idea on the trend of the models and where the position is, right? We'll just do that first. Here's UK Met, several inches, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go to the American model. It has calmed down. It was like 2 feet last night when we saw the data. It has now divided that in half, so it's about a foot, which I'll go more with the 1 foot than I would with the 2 feet, considering what we've got. But look at where the line is. I mean, it's down here, like so. So there we go. That's a better position. Let's go to the Canadian model. Remember, was it Jared? Was I talking to you last night from Dallas? And I said, hey, hold up. I mean, there was some snow on one of the models for Dallas. If you look here, guess what? The Canadian loves you guys down there for Dallas for snow. But for whatever reason, because there was a big donut hole here, there's more snow up to the north from that. And of course, all this will change as we go through the time. And then here's the European. It also has the snow kind of dipping down into this region. Now, it hasn't gone far enough. Obviously, I'd like this to fill in, which means I'd like the track to do something a little bit different than what the models are doing. and also depends on how much warm air gets mixed in, which can, remember the vertical soundings of the profile I showed you? Remember how that line I talked about? Everything's got to be to the right of the, left of that line to get it all snow. This indicates to me there's going to be some warm air at play, because if you got those lows that are too strong, guess what it does? It brings what we call warm air advection in from the Gulf of Mexico, and it wraps it into that upper level low, and it melts all the snow on the south and east side of that upper level low. So the track is very important. If it's too far north, we get buckets here in central and southern Oklahoma, and then it's all heavy snow up north. This is basically about a foot on the European data. So there we go. So it is not out of the question to have a foot of snow as we head into that next storm system early next week. Plus, we'll have some wind to go with it. Here's the American model. We've got temperatures here into the wind gusts into the 40s. Now, you imagine that? So you might have a little bit of power outages with that. So maybe something that we have to talk about. Okay, so back to the first system like we mentioned earlier. Snowfall amounts that are measurable kind of in this outlined area here, and then it'll become something like this as far as Oklahoma is concerned. Higher amounts up along the border. That's forecast from the National Weather Service. And there's a little output from the Tulsa region. From last night, they changed it and dragged this back down to this zone of the state. I think last night they had something like this. So they went along with the model data that was last night and trending in for today. All right, temperatures on the extended, they're going to let you go. 40s and 50s for daytime highs over most of the state here for the next several days. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s. And then this is the model blend, which is what I normally show you. But then I'm going to have to cut this off. 13th, 14th, and 15th. Remember that map I showed you? Remember I told you last night and that this outlook was going to change. These numbers are going to have to change because we've got Arctic air coming. So let's take a look at a couple different models just to see what that might look like. Remember, it's early in the game, so it'll be an early taste. So on the 13th is where the European stops. It's got us in the 20s all day. All right. So now let's go to the American model. So on the 13th, it did a little bit of a cool down. Had us in the 20s here for the 13th. And it's got us to 3 on the 14th, which that's pretty cold. And then it's got, I don't know, some goofy warm up for whatever reason, and we'll get into later. And then it's back down to the teens and single digits through that third week of January, with daytime highs struggling probably to get into the lower 20s. At the same time, it has that first storm system, second storm system, and the third storm system that comes in for Oklahoma City. Now, this one, for around the 13th of the month, for whatever reason, like I said, we'll get to it later, it's got a foot of snow. So I'm just saying, it's got plenty of cold air in place, so it doesn't have to worry about warm air advection or temperatures right at the critical point, whether or not we're going to see any action. It says, yep, it's a done deal because the pattern has flipped and no more warm air, all cold air, therefore all snow. So, like I said, if you're a snow lover or a winter weather lover, you're going to love the forecast I just gave you. You're going to love everything I just told you because that is all good news. And that's not just for Oklahoma. So that potential opens up for Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, all of our surrounding states, the Southern Plains. Amy, by the way, thank you for the stars. Sherry, thank you for the stars here for our lunchtime live. Appreciate you, ladies. So there you go. So that's what I've got here for you. I know that was kind of long-winded, but there's so much to tell you. I try to do it as fast as possible. I know you can sometimes always watch whenever you're doing it. You can always go back and watch the replay on YouTube. Watch it. You can do it like at 1.25 speed or maybe 1.5 speed. I don't know how I'm going to sound that fast. But anyways, there's options. You can do that. You can watch on Rumble. And of course on Facebook for right now, even on Gab. I'll upload it to Gab as well. So that's what I've got for you. Thanks again for joining me. I'm going to get back to lunch just like you do as well. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll do try to do another update. What's it, Thursday? So tonight, this evening. And then I'll do a couple of them over the weekend as well to talk about next week's storm. Again, this first one that's coming in for tonight, tomorrow is not that big of a deal at all. Just nice to see. It's change. But that's kind of a precursor and a warm-up to kind of get you ready over the weekend for next week and beyond. And get those coats and gloves and mittens ready. You don't have to use them that often in Oklahoma during our winter, maybe for a couple of days, where it gets really cold. But we've got a good stretch coming that's probably going to last for a few weeks with off and on, relief probably built in somewhere in there. But otherwise, just a cold stretch. So it's a good pattern to be in if you like true winter. All right, you guys be careful. Again, thank you for the love today, and we will see you soon. Make sure you like and share this video and join the channels. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.